Thank you all. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season and restful. It's great to see everybody today. So next, we're going to turn over to some upcoming developments that I think Grove is doing these. So
Yeah, I put some links in the chat, and the links are also in the agenda these are for the specifications for the things that are coming. Within the agenda, it also says the target releases for these. So just like Mark said, the multiple pickup locations for a branch will go into LIDA for the next release in addition to Discovery. We also have adding local library administrators. This is work sponsored by Metro, so thank you very much for that. And what that's going to let you do is add additional library administrators that don't need to be validated off of the ILS. And there's a couple of different use cases for this. And I think theirs has to do with single sign-on and but we can think of a bunch of different uses, and we're going to be using this functionality moving forward too. So that's coming for 2502. Then we have really exciting stuff coming for 2503. The first is native events in Aspen. So we're finally getting an Aspen event platform. This is the very beginning of events. We've been talking to some other libraries about some additions, like future things that we could do with these events add-ons, but that work is sponsored by CLIC for the Colorado Department of Corrections. So click on that one and take a look at it. I also want to point out with these specifications that we're putting links to, if you're curious about how we're going to develop it, those specifications they list how it's going to work for the patron, what the admin needs to do, and then how we're going to develop it. So if you're a developer and you're thinking, how is this going to work with something maybe I'm thinking of, you don't have to wait until the code is done. You can go ahead and look in there and see the technical aspects of what we're planning on changing. And there are some significant architecture pieces that we're adding for events. And like I've said at a few meetings now, those events are going to build off of those sublocations that Mark was showing you. So those sublocations won't just apply for pickup locations in Polaris. There will be sublocations for things like meeting rooms too. So super exciting. The next is sponsored by Swan, and this is series records in Aspen. And this is going to mean that we can do a lot more with series. Instead of right now, when you search series in Aspen, you're searching the series field within Mark Records. What this is going to do is create series records that can be searched separately. So you can search the series index for series by a certain author, which I love because I tend to read authors that have written multiple series. You can search the series index for names. Because it's a record, you can also do things like include series in Explore More or make a list of different series. So if I'm searching for the name of the series, you might see the titles pop up, but if your eye doesn't see the series name, you'll see that series name and Explore More, and you can click on it and then see all the series. And then finally, Minuteman had a list of really awesome improvements to LIDA, and we've kind of worked with them. They've broken that into phases, and we're going to be doing a whole bunch of smaller LIDA improvements that will come out as part of 2503 as well. So if anyone, I'll pause there. Does anyone have any questions about any of that upcoming developments? Yes,
looks like okay.
Yeah, Sierra says, so series records would be another type like grouped works or individual records. Yes. Yeah. Right. Well, chat away if you have any other questions while the meeting's ongoing, and thanks so much.
All right, thanks, Jordan. All right, so next up, and I forgot to put this on the agenda, it's my fault. I want to talk about we sent out an email to the Bywater hosted Aspen folks earlier this week, and there was some questions on it. So it's about the upgrade schedule. So Jesse's going to speak to that. And Jesse, you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, that'd be awesome, Bill. So for those of you who like visual presentations, when Bill and I were talking about this, we were like, we love to look at things while we're thinking about it. So if you look at the community calendar on the website, it'll kind of break down when things happen. So the first Friday of the month, the community will release a release that'll be available for test servers on GitHub. Bywater Solutions will use that time internally to review the release between that first Friday and the second Tuesday of the month. On the second Tuesday of the month, Bywater will update all of our supported partner test servers in the morning. Between that time and the third Wednesday of the month, That's when the next community release will come out. And Bill's pointing to that one right now. That will be available for production servers. At that time, Bywater Solutions will internally review these releases between that third Wednesday and the fourth Tuesday of the month. So for all of our supported partners, on the fourth Tuesday of the month, Bywater will update your production sites in the evening. So with all open source products that we support, Aspen, Koha, Metabase, LibKey, Folio, we make sure we have the time to review internally. So we're prepared to deploy and support our partners with any new changes to the code. So if you have any questions, please let us know. But we wanted to make sure we clarified any information or questions that you have. It's updated on the community calendar. And as always, we're here to answer any questions. Please submit a ticket. Thanks.
Thanks, Jesse. Any questions there? All right, so next up, we're going to go to Lauren for our new Aspen partners.
Yeah, so these are the Aspen partners that are hosted by Bywater that have become live in the last month. We've got Sacramento Public Library in California, Wheaton Public Library in Illinois, I believe. We have a couple of add-ons that were already partners that had Aspen, but they've added new libraries. So Harvest University is a new library with Click, and Kellogg Hubbard Library is a new library with the Catamount Consortium. So welcome, everybody.
Always good to see new folks come on board. And we have several new others coming on board in January and February. So excited to see them soon. All right, so Jordan with the tool selection.
Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit last time. We are working on configuring the tool that the Aspen community selected, which is Jira. This is very much in an alpha beta phase right now. We haven't necessarily fully configured it. So we're still determining what our issue types we want to be, what the data we want to be. If you want to go in there and poke around a little bit and see what it's all about, there are links in the agenda where you can go in and automatically get a login. You don't need a login to review the issues, but if you want to comment on issues, put issues in yourself, or see some of the other features, you do. It's better to have a login, and it doesn't hurt. So I would recommend that you do that. Any feedback on that as we are figuring it out and as we're configuring it, please feel free. You can send feedback to me. You can come to our working group. Our next meeting is next Monday if you want to join us. So thanks to everyone who has helped with that. And we're starting to see some issues roll in. So yeah, we'll be continuing to configure it and continuing to update you here with how it's coming along. Thanks.
And I just wanted to say that at Bywater, we're excited to host a webinar for users to get comfortable with the new platform for tracking issues and enhancements in Aspen Discovery. We're going to host a webinar that's open to anyone in the community via Zoom, and we'll talk about how you can create an account, how to search, and just how to view things in there so you can get comfortable with it. If you're like me, anytime we have to learn a new tool, I like to read and watch and do things together. So we just want to provide an open platforms for users to come in, ask questions. It'll kind of be an open format. There'll be multiple people in there talking, just so you can get comfortable with it. So if you want, you can register for an account beforehand and then follow along with us as we teach you how to use Jira. Thanks.
Thanks, Jesse. And there's a question about when the Bywater hosted libraries will get their test instances. And on the calendar, it is January 14th. And I'm next, I guess, community meetings. So all the community meetings, we'll put the link in there. So really good, robust community meetings. I encourage whatever ILS you're on, please do attend those. The cataloging meeting, the next community meeting, Tara, I believe is Tuesday, the 21st. Is that correct?
agenda in the chat right now. Yeah, hope to see you there. We've already got a couple topics from or actually one big topic from the Aspen governance group, and also that's come up in the gatherings to look at our QA process and criteria for how we do QA and any criteria that we would have for new features and bugs to pass QA.
Thanks, Tara. And then Aaron, any updates on governance?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name's Aaron Skog. I'm the executive director of SWAN. We do have a task force of 7 representatives from our Aspen community that have been meeting to work on Aspen governance. We have had 3 meetings so far. I'm going to send out the link to our Aspen community Google Drive folder. Bill, I don't know if you could demo this. It's harmless. I just think it may be helpful for everyone just to sort of see a little bit of what's going on. Just for transparency's sake, the link is going to, there you go. So there's a number of folders now that are in here. This is something that I think we're going to be needing to do more with. But if you go down to Aspen governance, there you go. Within there, there are the task force representatives also listed here. In case you're wondering who is on the task force, we have the written charge for the group as well. So if you're wondering, what the purpose of the group is, I'm stating this also because I think that there's also marketing and communications that may want to learn more. So the written charge is there. We have the meeting agendas also listed. Articles and research are some of the things that we've been working on. So with our 3rd meeting, well, our first meeting, we started way up here and we've been kind of now getting further towards what will be refining what we're talking about as far as governance for an open source project. So I'll be sending out the agenda. Our meeting is on Monday next week. There is an article that I had given the group a heads up about reading. It gets into a little bit more in the weeds as far as governance from more of a legality standpoint, which I think is important consideration before we start getting into sort of how governance is going to work within this Aspen project. So just a heads up for some of the folks that are at PTFS, Grove, Bywater, that the legal side is going to be something that we're going to have to tackle. And just as we do a lot of crowdsourcing for development, at some point I think we're going to have to be talking a little bit more at this next meeting. What will it mean when we have to start going down the path of the legal setup for governance? It's something I think we should talk a little bit more early about because it will have a lot of considerations in terms of as we start defining governance. So I do keep hearing a lot of things that are happening in other groups and communities, as Tara just mentioned, that there are things kind of being set aside for the governance, let's say, to address at some point. So I'm going to need to sort of start capturing a lot of what that is as well. So I am not a voting member of the task force. I'm just chairing it. I have a couple SWAN colleagues that are working with me, Tara Wood, and then Scott Brandwine have been helping. So if you have any questions, feel free to shoot those over to me directly. I am in the Slack if you want to ask. And we also have a channel now in Slack, hashtag governance, if you have questions in there as well. And if you put those questions in there, we should see it. All the members of the task force should be signed up for the governance channel.
Thanks, Aaron. And thanks for sharing that link too, because this is where all the different groups, all their notes are.
Yeah.
Really helpful to see all these.
I think it's something that we hit upon, as we're starting to have more of these meetings, that we needed a central repository for this. So some of the things that a couple of us were discussing, not related to governance, there's a document at the bottom, instructions for group leads, that is just getting started to basically start helping with these community groups as far as how they should, include notes and some of the things in these. I also left a note in there as far as some of the steps that Bywater may need to take. Bill, you maybe recall this. In order for me to be able to do things in Aspen governance in that folder, I needed some special permissions to be able to delete and move files around. So I just wanted to let folks know that if you start working more in this shared drive, you may need to request special permissions.
And just hit us up on Slack if you need access.
Yeah, I just reached out to Bill directly when I ran into this issue, and he got it taken care of for me.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Aaron.
Mhm.
Yeah, governance, I'm excited for the governance and all these meetings. They're really amazing. If you have an opportunity to go to any of these meetings, they're very helpful. I think next on the agenda, we have AspenCon, is that right?
That sounds right to me.
All right. I'm just gonna keep sharing the screen here and I'll just give you a visual.
Excellent, thanks. um, AspenCon 2025 is 10 months away. It's really getting closer and closer. October is literally just around the corner. So call for proposals is open. It opened on January 1st. We'll plan to keep it open until April 1st. So please go ahead and submit those proposals for the committee to review. If you would like to see the results of the poll that we did, they are in that link as well. And if you have any questions, you can reach out as well. There are email addresses on that form that you can contact in case you have any questions. And please remember that the registration that will be free for both in-person and online participants will also open in April 2025. So pencil that in on your calendars. And I also would like to thank our official Aspen co-partners, so Bywater Solutions, Nashville Public Library, and Keeple. Thank you so much for your generous contribution. You make AspenCon possible. And if anyone else is interested in supporting AspenCon in any way, please visit sponsorship opportunities. I think Lauren's going to help me out with the link in the chat as well, or contact us, pop into the committee meeting that is also visible on the community calendar. And I really can't wait to see the second edition. It's shaping up to be a good one. And now I'll pass it to Elise for some outreach updates.
Awesome. Thanks, Kate. So just a quick shout out to our December Librarian of the Month and Community Give Back winner. Our Librarian of the Month was Toby Reister of the Pasco County Library in Florida, and our Community Give Back winner was the Rochester Public Library District in Illinois. They used the funds to buy books for their children's collection. So as always, we encourage you to nominate a librarian and apply for the Community Give Back. We will be at a few things coming up at the end of the month, the Ontario Library Association Conference, and then also the Illinois Heartland Library System Member Day, which is a virtual conference. So if you're part of that, we hope to see you there. And that's it for me. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Elise. Any other, I don't know if you can hear it. My cat tells me it's time to end, but we're going to keep going. I'm going to open this up for just open time. Anybody have any questions? We'll kind of pause here, wide open for any conversations anybody wants to have. Yeah, we do need Jeopardy music here. I thought about changing my bicycle art out every once in a while to see if anybody notices it.
Miranda, I thought you said a whale soundboard, and that also sounded good. I don't know why
Yeah,
we need
just
whale sounds
Just
randomly.
whale sounds, yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna I'm gonna call it here. Thank you all again. We appreciate all of y'all, what y'all are doing. Happy New Year, everybody, and we'll see y'all in February.